Thanks for watching Endgame Economics. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe. It's completely free for you, and it helps us continue making more videos like this.
This line chart displays official UK business insolvencies. Notice how the recent data holds a perfectly flat, stable line, completely missing the massive, jagged spikes we saw during the economic crashes of 1993 and 2008. If you look strictly at these government statistics, you would conclude that British businesses are weathering the current economic storm perfectly well. But walk through any market town, and the physical reality contradicts the spreadsheet. Historic institutions that have survived for centuries, the pubs where entire communities grew up, are going dark at a staggering rate of one per day. And the decay extends far beyond the local pub. Major retail chains, the anchor brands you assumed were permanent fixtures of the high street, are systematically stripping down their operations, liquidating their stock, and boarding up their windows. We are being handed official reports that assure us everything is stable, while the physical foundation of the local economy erodes right in front of us. The disconnect happens because our primary economic warning system relies on what economists call lagging indicators. A lagging indicator only measures what has already happened. Formal insolvency statistics are essentially obituaries. They only count the companies that go through a loud, expensive legal process in a courtroom to officially die. That metric completely ignores the vast majority of closures. It misses the two-person shop that quietly hands back the keys, or the exhausted founder sitting at their kitchen table at 2 a.m, deciding to simply walk away without a single lawyer involved. To accurately measure the true trajectory of the economy, we have to stop reading the obituaries of the businesses that have already died. We need to read the leading indicators, the data that shows us who is currently getting sick. This gauge represents the Purchasing Managers Index, or PMI. It is a highly reliable leading indicator because it measures direction rather than volume. The 50 mark right in the middle is the waterline. Anything above 50 means the economy is expanding. Anything below 50 means the machine is shrinking. In June 2025, the UK Construction Index sank cleanly below that waterline, landing on a stubborn 48.8. Construction acts as the canary in the coal mine for the wider economy. Breaking ground on a new housing estate or office block requires massive capital and years of planning. Nobody pours a foundation unless they are highly confident about demand 18 months down the line. When builders stop building, it means developers and councils have quietly lost their nerve about the future. Because a single site relies on brickmakers, haulage firms, and architects, construction doesn't contract in a vacuum. It exports that economic weakness downstream, warning us the broader economic machine is hitting the brakes. This sudden evaporation of confidence has a precise origin. It arrived with a compounding stack of new taxes and mandates delivered in a single budget in April 2025. This graph illustrates the first hit. This represents the amount an employee could earn before their employer had to pay national insurance contributions, or NICs. That tax-free threshold was drastically slashed from £9,100 down to £5,000. Overnight, part-time workers and students, people who used to be relatively cheap to employ, suddenly carried a severe and unavoidable new tax burden. Then came the second hit. At the exact same time, the statutory minimum wage saw an aggressive spike, including a massive double-digit percentage jump for younger staff. This calculation shows how these two policies compound. Because national insurance is a percentage of wages, a higher base wage automatically inflates the tax bill, stacking a secondary cost on top of the initial hike to create an 8.5% jump in total labor costs. Ground that math in the reality of labor-heavy domestic businesses like restaurants and care homes. These venues generally operate on razor-thin net profit margins of around 3 to 5%. For these fragile sectors, absorbing an 8.5% compounded increase in their single largest cost is a mathematical execution. Faced with those numbers, a business doesn't file for bankruptcy the very next morning. It fights to survive by adapting. Owners freeze hiring, they cut staff hours. When employees leave, they aren't replaced, and they quietly cancel their plans for expansion. Shrinking the machine to survive the present is exactly the behavior the PMI numbers detect. But because the company is technically still alive, the official insolvency data remains completely blind to it. This is the invisible collapse. The brand names still hang above the doors, but the jobs, the operating hours, and the ambition are being systematically drained from within. We are not looking at a sudden financial crash with dramatic headlines and bank runs like we saw in 2008. We are watching a slow, quiet strangulation of domestic enterprise. The heaviest toll is psychological. When the government creates an environment of unpredictable, compounding costs, it permanently destroys a business owner's confidence to invest in the future. Relying on flat official statistics while ignoring the quiet data masks the real damage. The state is hollowing out today's margins and simultaneously consuming the investment needed for tomorrow's growth.